go live? Yep, here we go. Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 10th of July. So, I've been away for a week and it looks like I picked a really good week to go away in. Of course, there was non-farm payrolls out on Friday, and the markets often, when there's little else in guidance, etc., will sit there and chop, awaiting that. Well, we've seen the data, and hopefully now we might get a bit of movement back into the markets this week. Before I look at the markets, let's just have a look at what's upcoming. Let's just click on this week. There we go. So, what we've got coming through this week. We've already had the inflation data, PPI, CPI, inflation in China dropping there. We've got news tomorrow, the jobs report tomorrow for the UK. Claimant count, average earnings. Average earnings would be particularly key for the pound there. What else we've got? We've got New Zealand rates already amongst the highest, 5.5 of the biggies, if not the highest actually. Expected to stall now. We'll see the statement come from that. That's on Wednesday. Inflation data coming in again from the US on Wednesday, another key number there. We have got obviously speakers running through this, and we've got the Bank of Canada statement expected to come in with a morning Michael, expected to come in 0.25% higher. And then we've got that's probably it there. Press conference. So Thursday again, some more inflation data for the US. So there's stuff there this week that could cause a bit of movement. Let's have a look at the markets anyway. So usual top-down approach here, looking at euro dollar first. Well, the euro's arguably in a flag or a wedge, more of a wedge pattern actually. Recently, Friday saw the kick up on the data, US data, and changed things somewhat as a week. It was very rangy. We're seeing sort of clear sort of trendy markets when they happen. It's just seeing when they happen quick enough. What I'm looking at here this morning is I would like this price level to come back to its daily pivot. That'd be ideal. I've got the right pivot there. Let me just check everything's right there. In fact, oops. Let's just check the pivots here, if I can. Come on. Yeah, it's a daily pivot. That's okay. Just checking. It just seems very extended for some reason or another. It's coming right the way out here. Normally a daily pivot is just literally a day, so we'll check the calculations on that. But really wanted to come back towards that, and I'm looking at the flag that sort of it's producing at the moment, so we'll see if we get back into a bit of a flag there. Break of the highs of that could see a continuation that we saw starting on Friday, and see if it continues through there. Pound. So the pound, pretty much one of the strongest out there. Back into double tops here. It's having a bit of a reaction at the moment. It's whether or not it can break through. It's had a couple of tests around these pivot levels into last week's R2. They're reacting. The weekly pivot's not that far below. Maybe again a support area off that if it was to come through. I would see it coming through much more further through its daily pivot, but again on the daily side of things we could see this flaggy sort of pattern continue to the upside. We'll see if that gets triggered this morning. US dollar yen. Yen's a stronger looking currency. It's made the most movement against its peers this morning. It does just look on some of these markets, it's got lower highs coming through on the 4 hourlies here. Is this the have we reached well, I mean, we did reach before I left actually the 145 area. This was the area where we expected that we could see the Bank of Japan take action anyway, or at least mention action, but a lot of traders knew that 145 area was the key area. Anyway, lower highs this week were already it's run to the underside of its weekly pivot there, and running southbound on its daily. Could see a continuation, and this looks quite reasonable at the moment. Just got to remember though, when you come back here, overall it's been a pretty strong trend on the dailies to the upside. We'll see. We might be more sensible waiting for the correction, a retrace, and then a breakdown again, lower highs. But we've got the early stages of that in there. Aussie dollar, well, it's a mess on the dailies here, isn't it? It's backing, or it's been sitting around its this center point between its previous highs and lows, and quite ugly. Yes, it managed to do something on Friday, but it's softened since then and looking pretty ugly here. So again, it's halfway within its range, and not a lot I'd like to do with that. So at the moment, best thing to do is leave that. US dollar CAD, we were seeing the CAD pick up on Friday there. It had broken through its monthly pivot, etc. Put this big bearish engulfing candle in, key reversal bar. Normally, we haven't seen it break to the low side yet. We could see the break of the low, which we could expect further downside from. Just looking higher lows through the 4-hourly picture. That was one that actually moved for quite a long part of the week last week. I'm just looking at the pattern at the moment on this 4-hourly basis. If I was looking at this on a bigger picture, well, on this picture, I'd be waiting for the break of the lows, hit these recent lows below that 50 MA. It's looking good on this point here. It's got this flag going on. That may be a bit more of an aggressive entry. Again, though, it hasn't caught the daily pivot. Now, yeah, just really looking to see if that daily pivot gets broken. But from a 4-hour, I mean, that would be the equivalent, sorry, going between the two here. The price action breaking the lows here, which would be the trigger for the bigger movement. Shorter movement, well, near-term movement. Just need to see if we see a break here, but my preference would be the bigger time frame. And see then if we run further down towards its S1. Of course, with news coming out this week, it might influence it even further. New Zealand dollar CAD, quite a messy pairing this has been indeed. It's going nowhere, so along with the Aussie, I'll scrap that for now. Euro yen, I've been moaning and groaning about, or just quite scratching my head why so many retail traders wanted to be trying to get short on it when it's largely an upward trend. Well, didn't really do too much at all last week, and it's rolled over a little, and we've got this sort of lower highs coming through here with a stronger yen against the US dollar. We could see something more going on through this market as well. It does, I mean, it's moved off quite sharply here on the hourly time frame. It does look quite an aggressive sell point for the euro yen at the moment. Okay, euro pound, just a lot more observation than anything else what's going on here. The pound did regain something as the euro fell against it last week. We're sitting there this week into the weekly pivot here. Just looks on the 4 hours, just looks like it could maybe develop into something a bit more to the downside again. I just noticed it had double bottomed into Friday, chopped around a lot, but just looking more at the 4 hourly picture here to see if it starts breaking down again. It could be a little swing. Okay, Euro Aussie, let's just flick through these. Really just looking at more 4 hourly basis. Well, the euro is making some headway against the the Aussie again. Not really surprised with the the Aussie being so weak. Higher lows coming through, triggered twice now. We've got a couple of higher lows. Maybe we've got some more upside on that to be looked at. Euro CAD. Need to come out and look at this on the higher time frames. There we go. Euro CAD. Oh, it's gone properly ugly until Friday. We'll see what develops from this. We've got an untouched pivot here at the moment and prior highs, which could be a drawdown in the short term. But it's been knocking on the door there, trying to push up further for most of Friday and into this morning so far. Just really want to see what happens here. It starts breaking through its 4 hourly 8, etc. Breaking down here a little bit more. That weekly pivot might be a bit of a target. Overall, it has been in quite a choppy zone, so it's got some potential. Pound Aussie, I was looking at this before I went. Was looking for a breakout before I went. Nothing really happened. Looks like it's starting to pick up again here. The pound remains pretty strong. The Aussie is quite choppy and weakish. We'll see what develops there. Pound CAD. Pound CAD again. Well, pound is really pushing through. The only thing I'd like to see is on the weekly basis. I wouldn't want to be selling down to this, but if we got support of the pound CAD weekly, that'd be quite nice. Quite horrible and choppy on the shorter time frames though. Still might just go and push on beyond. If it gets back up to its daily pivot here. Pound yen. Oh, it looks horrible. It's got actually a similar picture to the euro yen. Not really rolled quite so much on the daily time frame there, and it's only really developing. I mean, the euro yen's already made lower highs. This really, the yen's winning the game at the moment, but it's easier, it's best played on the euro yen rather than pound yen if you're looking for a short of those two. Right, what do I have here? The Aussie New Zealand I'd highlighted previously, but just come out the time frames on this. Lower highs, on the bigger time frame. I was looking at the softer side of things. That was the week before last. Well, last week really saw the action coming out of that. We could see similar kicking off again with the expectation of further rate increase on the New Zealand dollar. That's priced in largely, but all the same, we could see further downside there. Right, I'll leave it there on the Forex side of things. Let's have a quick look at the gold market. So gold largely not doing anything but run sideward, and there's not a lot of action there. It's still sitting around its lows here, looking on the softer side. Oil, we started shifting to its bit more movement, a bit more trend, and to the upper side here. Higher lows, higher highs, has started moving. Flagging at the moment, bull flag at the moment. We could again see some further upside there. Okay, looking at the equity markets, CSI 300. Let's come out and look at it from a daily point of view. Still looking relatively soft, regardless of what's going on here. Overall, the picture to me looks on the soft side there. The Nikkei, on the other hand, that was looking half decent. And look, see, I go away and look what happens. Well, it continued. It effectively has moved away from the double top there and pulled back quite a bit here, taking out the low between the double top. That's really triggered perhaps the same sort of size of movement between that low and the high to the downside now. See if that works out. Not that I really want to be going against these markets. Nifty 50 again, another very strong market. I don't really want to battle against yet. We've had a key reversal bar there. Yesterday, Friday. Today's not really gone too far at the moment. Aussie 200. Continues it continues to be weak, quite ugly sort of movements. Had been trying to do something more, but yeah, not the greatest looking market there. S&P's again double topped and rolling over, not as much as some of the other markets there. As I said before, break of the lows from a double top would be more significant. At the moment though, it could just be going down to its monthly pivot there. US 30 or Dow again looking softer. It's not really pushed the same as the other markets. Maybe a further breakdown below the 50 here, these prior lows, could see it correcting even further. Nasdaq still the strongest overall, but of the US markets, but still looking a tad soft. It might just come to that weak monthly pivot and find some support. Still on the positive shape there, but again it's double top, so you're seeing the same double top. It's just it hasn't yet broken these lows. If it breaks the lows between two, then I would expect more downside. Okay, and finally the DAX. Almost finally the DAX. That's remaining on the selling off. Pitched up a little bit there last week, and then it's rolled off again. So overall looking largely soft, and well, we could see a continuation of this coming through here. FTSE's not looking particularly healthy at all, is it? With the lower highs, it's one of the weak of the well, if not the weakest. The equity markets looking through here really sold off most of last week there. Okay, finally, let's just have a look at the crypto markets, he says. Just clicking on the wrong one. There we go. Let's just have a quick look. Bitcoin, what's been going on here? Not doing a lot, a bit spiky, but sitting around there, just more consolidation. It's seems a lack of real interest. I'm surprised the rah-rah crowd have not tried to push it further. It's really like Ethereum here. Looking actually, Ethereum, I think you saw a break of below these prior lows here. Would expect a bit more to the downside. We'll see. It's hanging in there. Chainlink higher lows. Again, this could, if it gets, I mean, maybe support into the monthly pivot, but if it breaks that monthly pivot, it would look like all change again. Finally, Ripple. God, that's a mess. Best left alone. Like most of them at the moment, the consolidation, etc., not giving us a lot of clue. No real trends there. Certainly on those majors. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading today, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now.